the mic, talking day and spilling life, from trending memes to wildest dreams. Girl, did you hear that crazy thing? Girl, did you hear what's going down? We're lighting up this whole damn town. Strange and trending every week. Bestie vibes that'll never peak.
First few runs of it, I think, were like the purest form of America's Next Top Model, where it was truly Tyra and the Jays had their own creative freedom to do what they wanted to do.
But like, why would you put these young women in that type of situation with strange men?
Because that's what we
From
wanted
another
to watch
country.
at that point in time. Are you
I know,
kidding
but
me?
like,
we want the scandal.
Yeah, but on a production level, I think there's other things. Started off cringe.
Yeah, it wasn't.
But we didn't know at the time.
We didn't know that it was cringy at the time.
And that what's funny is like in the show, like they talk a lot about that. Like everyone is like, that's how it was back then. And hey guys, welcome to Girl Did You Hear?
The ultimate bestie hangout. I'm Jessica.
And I'm Kristen. Today is episode 77.
77.
Trucking along.
Yep.
Inch by inch, week by week.
It's a good one.
It is. Today we have a crazy one. As always.
We both grew up on this toxicity.
Oh, yes. We watched America's Next Top Model reality check. The new documentary.
Right.
On Netflix. Crazy. Okay, first, I want to know, did you watch all of the seasons of Top Model when it came out? Initially in the early 2000s?
So, graduated high school like 2003, moved out of the house kind of shortly thereafter. So I was only really able to watch it for the first like 3 seasons because that's back when I had my parents' cable. And then when I had to pay for my own cable, I had no cable.
You're like, no.
So I only really had it for a first little bit back when like the shows were good. And then of course I would try and catch it in other places.
Whenever it was on.
But I did binge watch it kind of when everybody else did, a little bit after everybody else did, when everybody rewatched it back in 2020
during COVID.
I binge watched it. I think it was like 2022 or 2023.
Nice.
So it did not sit well. It did not age well, I should say.
Okay, yeah.
With like that new lens, because I went from like season 1, episode 1, all the way to like season 24, I think.
Yeah. So what were your thoughts when you watched like the first few seasons initially when you were a youngin'? Like,
that was a very stressful show. Dude, are you kidding me? It was great. It was such a show to like want to strive for. Every girl I knew wanted to be on America's Next Top Model.
Yeah.
Every girl I knew was like, oh, I know somebody who models, or oh, I know a girl who does this, or like everybody was like, oh, I went to a casting. Like everybody knew somebody who was
did
on
something
that show.
Associated
but like,
with.
I've always been a like 5'11" kind of chunky country gal, so that's really not the demographic of America's Next Top Model.
Well,
and I mean, no
further seasons there were
like no, like there was that after watching that entire series. Are you kidding me? You're gonna try?
No, I'm saying there was a plus size model that did win.
Whitney did win.
Yeah.
She did.
And we'll talk about it. Talk about it.
That was the other thing. It was just, it was something that I wanted, but I couldn't relate to because I would never look like that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's understandable. For me, I definitely watched, like, I think I watched most of all the seasons up until the original judges got booted.
Dang, you held on to that thing all the way up to season 18, 19?
I would say I watched consistently up until like season 6.
Right.
When the Eva girl won, or Ava, or however you say her name, the short girl.
One of my favorites.
She was the shortest one. She was one of my favorites too because she was short. And I was like, I'm short too.
Yes.
Because I did want to be a model when I was younger. With my dad's like pushing inspiration. Well, both my parents did, but my dad was the one that took me to a lot of casting calls.
There you go.
And a lot of different modeling things from
Right.
when I was like 12 all the way up until when I started going on my own as like a young adult.
But you have to remember like the culture
And
back in that time.
Yeah, so this was like this
so-
was late 90s when I was younger, and then early 2000s when I was, you know, a young adult, like 18, 19, in my early 20s. And I knew even at a young age, like my dad had told me that industry was very cutthroat, and like I had already that mindset of how it was. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I kind of already knew that, and there was this stigma and stereotype essentially with that industry, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody kind of knew and had an idea of what it was,
that
right?
if you weren't shaped
Yeah.
like this, you
Exactly.
didn't get in.
Yes. And so for me, whenever I would go, like my issue was I was always too short. You're too short. You're too short. You can't do anything. You're too short. Like that was always my thing. And it killed me because like I wanted at that time, I wanted it so bad. You know what I
Right.
mean? And there were a few times that I almost got roped into scam agencies because it was something that I wanted so bad that I had the blinders on initially. And then I had other people like, hey, just stop for a second, like, and look at this with the big picture. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
And thank God that they did, you
Right.
know? And I actually tried out for America's Next Top Model 3 times.
Nice.
Because how they did it was like you could send in a videotape and fill out the application. By the way, the application was like over 100 questions.
Dang.
But I never sent in the videotape. That was just like I went to all the open casting calls that they just happened to have. Like they had one in Arizona. I think I went when I was like 16 or 17. And then I think I went to 2 in New York when I moved out there because
Right.
I had just the open casting, which those are crazy because
I can't
there's
imagine
thousands
so many
of
people.
girls there, and like it's literally just luck of the draw. Like they put you in different sections and you have a fucking number, and then they just like it's like I think it's just like a random lottery, you know?
Yeah.
But anyways, when I was watching it back then, like I remember seeing like when I watched the documentary and they were flashing different, you know, things from
Bits
the
of the
show,
episode, yeah.
from the previous shows. And they were showing like how shitty it was, you know, and like how fucked up the show actually really was, you know. But the way that things were in that time frame is crazy because like the perspective in the lens of the world was
That fit right in.
it was okay. It was
just fine.
acceptable,
Oh, yeah.
you know? And so even when I was watching it, like there were some scenes where I was like, wow, it's kind of fucked up. I'm like, oh, it's just part of the industry. Like that was like my mindset. Like that's
Isn't
just,
that wild?
That's just part of what comes along with being a model.
that
Like,
was the lens of the early 2000s.
yeah. And it's wild to see like that shift happen because as they discuss in the documentary, like COVID happened and then nobody like really like Top Model was very popular in 2000s when it first came out.
Early 2000s.
Yeah, because reality TV was
A baby.
a baby. There was only a few different types of reality shows. I don't know this for sure, but I don't think there was a lot of let's throw everybody in a house together and film what happens type reality shows. There was more like Survivor. I don't know if Big
Not
Brother
yet.
was around yet.
Big Brother, I
But,
think, was
like-
a baby. But they were starting to get into like the group of people dynamic reality shows. Like,
But no, I don't. Not
reality
many people had
television
lived
was
in a house
just
together.
starting out. And I mean, and this was a part of like that, the dawning of that time.
Yes.
Where, it wasn't, we didn't get, I think you're right. I don't think there was a lot of like tossing a bunch of people in one industry in a house and seeing how they survived. But I know that style of reality TV show kind of just like
stuck for a while.
reprinted for
in
hot
so
minute.
many different ways.
Yeah.
You know, it was crazy. Like it was really mind blowing for me, like to have all these like perspective. Cause like, as I'm watching the documentary, I'm remembering how I felt like, or what I was thinking when I was watching it for the first time. And then now I'm rewatching it and I'm like, wow, I'm like, that's kind of fucked.
That is hella fucked.
I'm like, and also like on the back end of things, like the way like production handled things, like, there's just a lot of little things that like come into play, which we'll discuss and bring up. But like I was just like mind blown, you know.
Right.
But going back to like putting people in the house, it was a very baby thing. Nobody really knew how people were going to react. You know, these young girls had no idea what they were walking into when they signed up, you know, to be on the show.
They just knew that they were going to be
Like,
filmed
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah. And
that there was a model job at the end of it,
Yeah.
supposedly.
hopefully. That's what
In
they were
theory.
hoping for,
Yeah,
you know?
poor girls.
Yes. And they are competing and they're going through these crazy challenges and they're, you know, getting tested, you know, they're getting pushed mentally, physically, emotionally, in all the
Right.
ways.
Being shown
You know,
all the dirty, ugly
yeah,
things of
they
the modeling
filmed
industry.
the seasons in a hotel, which makes total sense, you know. So they're all living in like a suite essentially. And then they have like production in different rooms and other things in different rooms for different setups and whatnot, you know. So everyone's kind of all in the same area. But I thought it was interesting also, kind of going back to like the beginning stages of when Tyra even had this like idea, right? You know, and where that idea stemmed from and her initial purpose for the show, right? So she initially claims that she wanted to start this show because, you know, she was a woman of color in the modeling industry, which wasn't a huge thing for that time frame either, right? And she wanted to create this show. She had this crazy idea to show the world all different types of beauty, right? And that it can be in different things, it can look in different ways, whatever, right? So I do think initially like her thought and her intentions were probably in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as they put everything together and the first season like blew up and they saw like the potential for when they saw, you know, how much could be made. And honestly, I think what happens when you put people in these situations and you film them 24/7, you know, and you put 12 strangers or 14 strangers in a house and film them 24/7, of course drama and shit's gonna pop off. Like it would be crazy if it didn't. You know what I mean?
Right. And I mean, they even disclosed that like while they were doing their confessionals in the mic room where they just got to like sit and chat and say that, oh, well, you know, so-and-so did such and such, is that the producers would like egg them on to like start stuff.
Yes, 100%. And I mean,
because that's what we want to watch. We don't want to watch everybody getting along.
no, of course
which
not.
sucks for us.
Because like, I mean, one day maybe there will be a reality show that is like that, and it would be interesting if it actually like did really well, but I don't think a network would even give it a chance, unfortunately, you know.
Would you watch it?
I don't know, it depends on what it was about. I would watch it because I'm like, ooh, this is new. What is this? A non-drama reality show? Let's see what it's about. How are they going to create the drama? How are they going to create the entertainment without the drama of the people, right? And poking them and stirring the pot, you know? But like, if you look back to like Jerry Springer and all of those shows, it's all the same stuff. Like there's people out there that think that Jerry Springer is like 100% real, like to the T. People to this day still thought the fucking bounty hunting show was real, you know? And like, no matter if we told them it was fake or not, they still thought it was real,
matter.
you know?
Yeah.
And it's just interesting, like how people's like perspectives can be only either one way, or you know, they have the ability to shift it and to see the big picture, you know. And there were some girls during some seasons that tried to speak up for themselves and they got shut down
Every single time.
You know, there was, I forget what her name was, but she was doing like a dance scene with like these male models, and she said that she was feeling, I remember this episode too, which is funny. And I remember thinking when I was watching it, like, girl, he's just touching your leg, like, get over it. Like, just do what you got to do to get the shot.
Isn't that wild?
That's my 18, 19-year-old self brain.
That's,
you know,
and then no, that's the lens that everybody had in the early 2000s.
In 2003, yeah.
That behavior, no, it's not that it was okay, but it was handled differently.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, there was no advocacy.
Right. And so they're dancing and the guy like was, you know, rubbing on her leg or whatever, and it made her feel uncomfortable.
So she stops the
So
shoot.
she stopped the shoot and everybody was like, what are you doing?
Right.
Like,
and the fact that she asked herself, she's like, what would Tyra do? Well, I think Tyra would respectfully do this. And so she
Right.
follows through with that and she gets like shunned.
yes. And then in the documentary, they brought that up to Tyra, and her defense was that she didn't know all the details exactly, supposedly, you know, but she said that she did what she could at that time with the information that she had.
Tyra
and
disappointed the crap out of me this entire documentary,
Yeah.
dude. Like the whole thing with like Shanti
Yeah.
and how Tyra's like, the producer's like, do you remember Shanti's story? And she's like, well, and then it cuts.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they go to talk about it further, she doesn't remember Shanti's story.
Yeah.
And then she like drags her through the mud on her show later. Like it's not.
Yeah. Which was messed up. And, you know,
There's no advocacy for these girls. I mean,
There's
that's just
not.
exactly what it
And
boils into.
like, it's such a weird line because, like, when people sign up for a reality show, they're signing up for the shit show.
Yeah,
essentially.
they know
But
that they're going to be filmed. They've seen
these
other
girls
seasons. That's the thing.
didn't know what they were signing up for initially. I'm talking about like first season people here, like
Yeah.
at least like first, second season didn't really know.
But
like they knew what they were signing
the
up for, but they
fuckery
didn't know.
start happening until seasons later. Is the
Super
thing.
seasons later.
Shanti's
Yeah.
didn't happen until seasons later. Like the
That's
first
true.
few runs of it, I think were like the purest form of
Yeah.
America's Next Top Model, where it was truly Tyra and the Jays had their own creative freedom
Yeah.
to do what they wanted to do. And as soon as they got popular and the network started controlling and saying, hey, we want more drama, we want more
need
this,
this, we need that.
is when it shifts.
Yeah, and unfortunately, at that point, I think that Tyra and Miss J, probably weren't as hands-on in production as they were in the beginning.
Right. So stuff
And
like
so
that can
a
slip
lot of the
past.
stuff was slipping past.
Because like how did Shanti get that far into the situation she found herself in?
Yeah, that poor girl.
Like,
I mean, we could talk about it.
I mean,
they brought over a bunch of male models to the apartment.
so at the end of not the end, but every season, but one of the perks at the end of the season is that they would take you abroad and you would do model-like things in
these
other
fancy
countries.
right?
Yeah. Where other models do stuff like that, like Milan and
Paris and whatever,
Australia
yeah.
and all these other fun places. You know, it was kind of like a Benny for making it to the final
Yes.
whatever. So they do this, and then they invite the male models that they were out with that day. And of course, the wine starts flowing and things go too far. And
Yeah.
of course, they are filming it the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing is that if you're wandering around the house alone, you're fine. If you go into the bathroom alone, the cameras don't follow you there. But if you go in with somebody else, the cameras are going to follow you in. The fact that like that made it through production and then to TV.
Yeah.
Also kind of makes me cringe.
Whoever was doing the edit on that didn't stop and be like, I'm just gonna take this little clip out real quick.
Why didn't they
you know?
pull Shanti out of the situation? Kind of her question.
Exactly.
They're like, I mean, because
That
she's
too.
like a 19-year-old girl at this point, and like you can see that she's getting inebriated. And
Yeah,
you can
and
see,
I don't think
they are
that's
videotaping the fact that he's like they are like canoodling sort of thing. Like, this
they're
is not-
making out in the hot tub, and then they go into the shower for further things to go on,
and then they
but
go
the
into
poor
the
girl
bed, and then
has
like further things to
a
go on.
boyfriend. Yeah, the girl has a boyfriend.
And so I think that's the whole reason why they kept it going is because there's
Of
a huge
course,
story
of
there
course.
because it's like that made that whole I remember
that whole scene, that whole episode too. And then she calls her boyfriend and tells her boyfriend what happened. And of course, like that's a whole scene in itself. And of course, production's filming it. And she even said in the documentary, like that production told her after, like, I'm so sorry I had to film that.
right.
You know?
Well, because they wouldn't
it's
even
like-
give her a phone until she threatened to leave.
Yeah. And it's shitty. Like, it's shitty being on production and having to film stuff like that. But being someone who works in production, I completely understand why they had to film that.
Yeah.
You know, like it doesn't make it right, but I understand like why it happened. Because if shit's going down, regardless of what's happening,
Somebody's got to put eyes on it.
Film it.
Yeah.
Like that is your job as a
Yeah.
producer, as a person with the camera in your hand. You know what I mean? Like that is
You
your
need
job
to get these moments.
Yes.
Right. That is why you're here.
Yes.
Yep.
You know, and like it sucks.
It's
and
rough.
it's shitty and it's so rough and it's so hard. And I'm not saying that I agree with it because those girls were underage. They shouldn't have really been drinking wine with these boys anyways, in my opinion.
No.
You know what I mean?
I mean, but they're in another country. The laws are different.
But like, why would you put these young women in that type of situation with strange men?
Because that's what we
From
wanted
another
to watch
country.
at that point in time. Are you
I know,
kidding
but
me?
like,
we want the scandal.
Yeah, but on a production level, I think there's other things that could have been done other than that. Like, that just doesn't make good sense in my brain.
America's Next Top Model was a monster by that point. It had been chewing away at the ratings for seasons by the time that stuff started getting really,
really bad,
really shisty.
Yeah.
Like the first time I started getting a little bit uncomfortable with it was when they wanted Danny to change her teeth, and she's like, "No, I don't want to. I don't need to."
That was weird.
They even touched on
what
that
about
in the documentary.
girl that had all those teeth removed?
Yeah. Oh God, was it Jolene? What was her name?
I don't remember. But they took out this girl's. They removed.
It was the same season.
Teeth.
It was the same cycle. Yeah.
Yeah, and
they went
she
into
was
the dentist
there.
together.
She was there for like 18
hours.
plus hours.
Hours. Yeah.
Getting drilled in on her teeth, like shaving her teeth down. Like she even said it in the documentary now that she still has like dental problems now from that time frame.
And they kept calling her like Snaggletooth.
She couldn't even call her mom to ask. Even though she was 18, she couldn't call her mom to just be like, hey, like, what do you think about this? Like, they wouldn't allow that to happen, which is kind of fucked also, you know, to like put these girls, like, you know, that these girls are dreaming to be America's Next Top Model.
They're willing to do anything.
They're willing to do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're pushing them to see just how far and like they're willing to actually go.
Well,
which
I mean,
is wild.
I remember
to me.
watching the show and like loving the makeover section because of the drama.
Totally.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
like,
of course, because there's always like three
girls that are about to lose their mind because like we cut their hair short or dyed it a different color
or didn't like it. Mm-hmm,
I mean, and like now that I know that they're, I mean, I can't imagine what it's like having, like, it's. I feel so bad because there was such of a lack of empathy on my part towards those women. And now as a grown up watching this, I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah, like adult eyes. Because we were watching it and as we're the same age as them.
Right. Even younger still.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like we have the same perspective as them and everybody else in the world at that point.
Mindset.
You know, like
it's wild to me that's, I mean, in it, you look at stuff through a different lens of media even older. And I mean,
totally.
People will make jokes about, oh, that didn't age well. This show did not age well.
No. And it was so crazy. Like even them showing some of like the clips from like early 2000s, I'm like, wow, that looks rough. That footage looks really bad. Yeah. Like you can tell it's from early 2000s, which is crazy. Mm-hmm. You know, it's wild to me that this is like 26 years ago, this show. Mm-hmm. Isn't that wild?
And we're still talking about it?
Yes. Well, there was 24 total cycles of this show, I think, right? Something like that. And then it was on the UPN network, which Tyra got turned down a lot by every network except for UPN.
Yeah.
Initially, when she tried to pitch it to get a network to buy into it.
UPN was the only one that would take it.
And then she, you know, had her best friend Jay and Miss J, which I love both of them so much. Mm-hmm. You know, throughout all of it, which was so awesome. And then they get to the point where the network's telling Tyra that they need a change in the show and they got to go essentially. And they had talked about doing like this big like farewell type thing or like, you know, everyone's parting ways, you know, because of whatever. And then that's not actually what happened. And someone leaked some bullshit to some magazine or whatever. And then they're like, oh no, Tyra fired all of her crew.
Yeah, they were going to have a press release where they all split up amicably. Amicably. I don't know. Anyways, you know what I mean. And then they were like, okay, where everybody gets like a quote and a saying. We're like, you know, we're all just leaving to go like live our better lives and be our better selves.
Yeah, it's run its course, whatever.
But that didn't come out. That didn't happen. It just went straight to, Tyra fired these fools. Sorry, guys.
Yes, which is messed up.
Well, I mean, I get it though, because it's like we want you to watch, because we want you to like play into the drama. We want you to see who the new judges are.
Of course, like
I'm so happy they got rid
like it's
of.
just all a ruse, but it's also like I understand why they do it, but it makes me so mad sometimes because like it's not how shit fucking goes.
That's exactly how shit goes.
No, it is how shit goes publicly. But like behind the scenes, it's not how shit goes all the time. You know what I mean? It's only what they want you to see on there. Yes.
So why do you think you need to know the whole story?
Of what?
Why it goes on behind the scenes?
What do you mean?
Why do you think you need to be told the whole truth?
Well, we know. Well, Jay was gonna leave the show. Initially, he tried, you know,
and then hung on for another group of seasons.
But what I'm saying is, like, they were going to have this press release that everyone was going to leave peacefully and happily and blah 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 blah. And then the network decided, fuck that. We need to stir the pot. We're going to tell everyone that Tyra fired everybody. So they're telling the public Tyra fired everybody, but it's not how they had originally planned for things to go down, is what I'm saying. So like,
well, but like, here's the thing though.
The network is,
who do you believe?
as far as like what they actually, well, Jay in the show is one that said that that's what they were going to do. Mm-hmm. And I feel like he and Miss J are probably the most genuine ones out of the whole fucking thing.
Mr. J is the most eloquent MFer I've ever seen. He's got the best way to beat his way around the truth, especially when he was grilled on the interview with that dude. He's like, oh, yeah, no, I've worked with Tyra in the past, and her reputation precedes her for kind of being a bad lass. And so he got very like, he reflected. He even took it upon himself, and he goes, you know what? I know that myself sometimes I'm hard to work with, so I get why, her reputation can precede her because blah, blah, blah. He went straight. He did not. He's great. He's really
that's what
great.
I'm saying. Of course,
because he's telling us that that's not the way,
right?
But like he's telling the rest of the world that this is the way.
That's what I'm saying.
So
like the TV,
he could be telling us whatever the fluff.
He could be telling us. So he could be telling us
whatever,
that
whatever nicety he wants to think we want to hear.
Yeah, but I mean, ultimately.
Just so that he can be nice with Tyra. I mean, even still, they're not talking. You know what I'm
they're
saying?
not. But
so
like that's why I think
dancing.
that he, like in the documentary, though, I think that's why he would like, if he was bullshitting, I don't think he would hide it. Though, is what I'm saying. Like I think he was the most genuine in the documentary.
I don't think he was bullshitting. I just don't think he's like telling us either the truth or telling us the real version.
That's fair
of the story. Like, I mean, I get it. What he's telling us is probably an accurate representation of what happened, but it's probably dumbed down for the rest of us.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm sure there's way more carnage behind the scenes that he can't even still talk about. I mean, she's all tied up in NDAs and bullshit. But
of course, yeah.
I mean,
I'm just saying, like
watching him do this interview, it was even like you would watch him pause and then answer and then tiptoe and then answer, and then when it didn't have to do with Tyra, I mean, he had no problems talking about it.
Yeah. Well, also, I think he doesn't want to. I mean, they still have like their own reputation, obviously, in their own careers to also worry about in the present time.
Right. So he's going to tell the story he was told to tell.
Essentially. Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't take him at face value, but I don't think he's not telling us what his experience was like. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get what he's saying, and I appreciate the production of the production, sort of thing, and him telling us his story. But I think he told us a very Cinderella version of his story.
Well, yeah, I'm sure there's probably a little of coaxing going along,
a little Disney version of his story.
I don't know, man, because I feel like nowadays the way that documentaries are. Like, we've watched a lot, and we've seen a lot of people just
he's not going to burn her
shit out.
He's not going to burn her on that show. He's not. He's not. There's no way.
There's no way.
There's no way.
Possibly. I don't know.
He's smart, man. Like,
yeah. No, he is. He is.
He's been playing that game for way too long.
Of
and
course.
The fact that she wouldn't even touch it.
No.
She's like, yeah, I need to give him a call. And then drops it.
Yeah.
Dude, I've lost so much respect for her.
Yeah, no, it's just it was shitty to see that falling out because Jay was her first phone call when she had this idea.
Yeah.
Initially.
He was OG.
Yeah. So like it's just shitty to see stuff like that happen. And you know, obviously that there was probably a lot more than what's being shared,
Right.
you know, on the surface of things that happened that created the separation or created the animosity and resentment that built up over time or whatever.
Right.
But like you or in the show, you could see that happen on one of the seasons when he was going to leave and then he ended up staying.
Yeah, they forced him to stay.
Tyra found out that he was going to leave and then she wouldn't talk to him outside of the show.
Right.
Which was fucked up. I was like, that's bitch, dude. Like that.
Goes
Like,
to
he
show
was
how
your
shitty
OG
she is.
friend.
Like,
yeah.
she's not someone to aspire to be.
No, which is shitty because when I was younger and even for a long time in my older years, I did have a lot of respect for her because she was a strong entrepreneur woman. She was a businesswoman. She was a model. She had all of these things that like I had aspired to be, like
Right.
not her, but like just qualities in, you know, that I aspired to be, you know, as I was growing up. I was like, strong, independent businesswoman. Like that's what I want to be. You know what I mean?
Right.
And she was a lot of those things. And then she also had like this modeling creative side. And I was like, ooh, I can do that too, you know? And I like I was not a guest. I was in the audience. I went on her talk show. And like when you see her in person and obviously the cameras are on, you know, anyone can turn it on or off. I know that more than anybody else, you know?
Being a service advisor will do that to you.
Yeah, service advisor, you know, working with other people on
Yeah.
YouTube shows and stuff. Like, I know how it goes, you know?
Yeah.
And even still in that moment, I was like, oh, she's so nice. She's so genuine. Like, oh, look at her. You know, she's so pretty. Like, all these things. But then, like, you hear all these other, like, back end things in the show about her. And then you see it in a different lens. And you're like, damn, dude. Like, completely different person.
It's weird to watch your heroes fall.
It's strange. Yeah. And it's not like I'm so devastated. You
No,
know?
but like
there were a lot of people.
I remember the way that I felt about her when I was watching that show as a child versus
Yeah.
when I watched that show as a 30-something-year-old.
Yes.
And then I was
Same.
like, oh, ew.
Yeah. Same. I was like, wow. Okay.
And
I was like,
it really kind of put me back into a place of like, I remember aspiring to like want to be on the show and wanting to be one of these girls. And this is back when I was just watching the show for what it was at face value. Like they hadn't started peeling back the layers of the cringe.
Right.
And it was already cringe. Like it was already just.
It started off cringe.
Yeah, it wasn't.
But we didn't know at the time.
We didn't know that it was cringy at the time.
And that what's funny is like in the show, like they talk a lot about that. Like
Yeah.
everyone
That's
is
just how it
like
was.
that's how it was back then, and like it's fucked up. And like thank God times have changed a little bit, you know, and
Toxicity
we've
has calmed down
evolved,
a
you
little
know,
bit, but
and
it's still there.
there's a little bit of more accountability, and you know there are more opportunities for women with different body types in the modeling industry. I think it depends on what you're going for. Like if you're trying to go down to like Victoria's Secret fashion show or like some high fashion runway type stuff, probably not. Like there probably is a difference, you know, depending on what type of fashion someone wanted to go into based off their body type. But I do think there is something available for every body type out there. Clear, like that just makes sense to me. Like why would you not? Like I've seen a lot of people include.
'Cause that's the way it was. That's not the way it was.
Well, not then, but I'm saying like now it's more
Right.
inclusive now
Because it
you know?
had to be.
Right.
Because we're like, well, why not me?
Right. Well, exactly. But why should it? I don't know. It should
Just
have never
because-
been that way.
Well, I mean, as a gender, we're slowly becoming more valuable. You know,
More
I'm saying-
valuable.
I'm saying not slowly, but leaps
Slowly.
and bounds. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that. The clothes, man, the low cut jeans to wear just like the dimples right above your butt cheeks were showing, and then the tramp stamp tattoos, like just the way that we as women would dress ourselves to objectify our bodies was just so toxic and such a different time. And I mean, and that's back when I was great and I looked good in it. So that's
Right.
like
But
hooray for us. But like now,
if girls dress like that now, do you still think that they're objectifying their bodies, or do you think that it's more acceptable now and people don't look at it in the same way?
What do you mean?
Like people dress like that, how we used to dress back then. Like if we dressed,
If we dress that way, or if the girls of our age dress that way now, because they are.
Well, yeah, because a lot of it's circling back around. Right. Yeah. I'm not saying you and I. Well, I mean, I still,
Girl,
I teeter.
Too much hanger on top of those low rise to do that anymore.
I teeter on the line a lot. Right. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I'm too old to wear this or what's going on.
No, it's a totally different lens because like we see women differently, I think, in 2026 than we did in 2006.
Yeah.
So I don't think that a girl dressing that way would be viewed as a person objectifying herself. I think it would be viewed more of like a person expressing herself, but I think there would still be that objectifying herself stigma.
Yeah.
Because that never goes away.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
But
for some people, yeah. I mean, I never felt like that, and I never thought other people were like that.
Mm-hmm.
To an extent.
Right.
Like there was like a line for me. Like if they were showing too much of that or too much of this, I was like, that's a little too far. Like that's when it became like more trashy for me.
Right.
At that point.
But again, I was like 18, remember Charlotte
19 years old.
Like it was just racks of skirts that were this long and tops that went right along with it.
That looked the exact same. And you're like, is this a top or a skirt?
How do I put this? Wait, does this go around my neck? Like
there's so many straps. Where did they all go?
And that was just the fashion. Like I don't think I'll ever see that again, hopefully, in our existence. And I mean, this old lady ain't wearing it. Like this mesh is about as like risky as it gets anymore. But like, dude, that show.
Okay, so I
taught me a lot of things. Like
it did.
I didn't like. I don't know.
Go ahead.
No.
Okay, so real quick, because I don't know how long we've been talking about this, but couple things that were really fucked about the show that we didn't touch on was
Janice Dickinson was a bitch.
Yeah, she was a huge bitch, which I knew.
The rudest
I
judge
never
ever.
liked her in the beginning. I never liked her.
And then I get it. They put her on there for the plot, but like, dude, she was rude
bad.
As hell.
She would,
for no good reason.
She would say some really off the wall shit to some girls.
Yeah.
About their photos and their weight and what they looked like.
Yes.
And everything. And I'm like, damn.
The fact that she was just allowed to be like off cuff. Just on live television, not live television, which is even worse because someone had to sit there and watch that and go, yep, we're going to put that on there.
Send it. They didn't have we don't have another clip of this that we could use potentially.
We didn't say cut and then had her try it again. No. Okay, got it.
Yeah. So the girls believed that if they would have won, they would have got a modeling contract.
Right.
With an agency.
Right.
That is not the case.
No.
So all the girls that won, they had like a makeup deal of some sort.
Yeah.
With like Revlon or CoverGirl for like $100,000 or whatever their deal was. Mm-hmm. They had like a makeup deal. And then they had like something else, but they did not land an actual modeling contract. They still had to go out on their own after winning the show to try to land those modeling contracts on their own. And them being on Top Model was an inhibitor for them to try to get into these higher end agencies like in New York and LA and stuff like that.
Right.
Because these agencies...
This is before reality TV stars were like a good thing.
Right. And the agencies at that time didn't want that type of whatever in their agency for whatever reason. So that was really shitty because a lot of the past winners were on the show, and they're like our age now.
Yeah.
And they're giving, their new lensed perspective and how things were. I shouldn't say new lens because they're the ones that actually experienced it,
Those poor things.
But none of them, at least the ones on this show, became famous models. Mm-mm. In fact, there was only like a small handful that even landed modeling contracts after being on shows. One of them was Eva from Cycle 6, our favorite.
Mm-hmm.
She was actually one of the most successful in her career after being on the show with modeling and doing a lot of other things. So, but there was I didn't write down all the names, but whatever the other ones were, the handful, I'll just drop a little thing right here so you guys can see it. But they all just landed, like they had different ad deals here and there, but none of them landed like a modeling contract deal at an agency.
Like Danielle said, she was one of the winners. She said that she got an agent from Ford. Ford took her to the model apartment. She sat stagnant in the model apartment for months without anybody ever picking her up and saying, yeah, we want her. And then she asked one of her other model friends that lived at the house, and she said that, well, we can't use Danielle because of America's Next Top Model. People don't want her fame.
They don't want
from
that
show,
association,
like you said, to take away from like the show of the clothes. Like she's just a wearer of what I'm producing.
Yeah,
right?
she's just a human mannequin.
Right.
Unfortunately.
And then Whitney, the plus size model, when she got out, she said that the modeling company that she got the contract for didn't even have a plus size division. So when she won the show, she's like, well, WTF, there's nothing there for me.
Right.
And then, of course, she went through and like broke through and made a bunch of, became the first plus size model for a bunch of companies, which is great.
Super amazing.
Love that representation. But even still, I mean, there was no, that she was it.
Yeah. And Tyra knew that.
Yeah.
Tyra knew that them being on the show would inhibit them.
Yeah.
And she didn't say anything or do anything to change it or help them or anything.
Nope. She kind of shady.
So shady. There were so many girls on the show that I wanted to talk about, and then we went on like a whole rant. But like Ebony was a good one. She was an interesting look to be on Top Model and then to be in the documentary. But I have to say her vibe is a little weird for me.
Why?
She like, I don't know, something just about her, I don't know how to explain it, in the documentary just seemed like over pretentious.
Interesting. I thought that was kind of her MO.
And I think that probably just is how she is.
Because that's how she was in the...
It just like, I don't know, tickles me.
Yeah,
tickles me in the wrong way.
That's fair.
But I really liked Shandy or whatever her name was. She was always like a favorite of mine. And then Adrian or Adriana, was that her name?
I can't remember.
I don't know. But
there's so many girls.
Yeah. So real quick, I just had this random thought about Janice Dickinson, because as I was watching the documentary, I'm like, what the hell even ever happened to her after this show? Like, what did she go on to do?
Right.
Just different reality TV shows, essentially.
Yeah.
You know, like nothing spectacular.
Dude, I didn't realize that the girls who didn't make it on the show had to stay with the show until the show was over.
Yeah.
That sucks so bad for them.
When they got eliminated,
they just like were stuffed away in a hotel.
They filmed the goodbyes. They filmed them packing their bags and leaving with their suitcase. And then they just leave out the door and then
come right back in another door because they're just in a different set of rooms.
Yes. And they have to stay there because, I mean, I get why.
Right, because they're a part of like the show.
They can't even call
Could you imagine being the first girl done?
And you still have to wait 7 more weeks?
Yes.
What the fuck do you do that entire time? You can't talk to anybody.
Nope. And then you just hope that someone else... I mean, of course, you get more people to talk to as like the weeks go on, but like...
that first week would be rough. Like, what the fuck do I do?
Right. Those first couple weeks, actually.
That would be really bad.
It'd be a sad room.
Did you have any other thoughts that you wanted to share on this show?
Let's see. What did I have? Do you think Top Model started the influencer trends?
I think it definitely had a starting point.
I think it kind of had a spin, a more of a female dominated spin on the reality TV show side of things than really creating any sort of like influencer dynamic.
Yeah.
Because the point that they made was like, now in order to be a model, you don't need an agency. You just need 1 million followers sort of thing. and then brands pick you out of there.
Yeah.
Which is great. I mean, I'm happy to see that that's changed. I'm sure the industry sucks so much still.
Oh God, I couldn't imagine how
even
it is
in
now.
its own aspects, but
yeah, I mean, any industry like that in the fashion world is pretty cutthroat.
yeah. Oh, I
Like,
can't imagine.
Whether you're a model, whether you're a designer,
yeah,
whether you're a
photographer.
photographer,
Yeah.
video, like it's cutthroat,
For
you know,
everyone.
for everyone in there
Yeah.
because this photo looks like shit. The outfit looks great, but the photo looks like shit. Okay, well, you know,
Here we are.
what would you like me to do? You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
like the model's not wearing the clothes the right way or whatever. Like there's so many things that like go into that because these designers are like, they want their clothes sold and it has to look the best. It's their product,
Right.
you know?
Right.
Like I get it, but like, man, there's got to be another way. Stop telling girls that they're,
To be skinny.
yes, that they're too skinny.
Or that they're not skinny enough.
Yeah. That's the thing. Stop telling them that they're not skinny enough.
Girl, I mean, because I'm sure you've had the you're too skinny, and then I've
All
been told
the time
that I'm not skinny enough.
People-
So realistically,
you need to eat a cheeseburger or something.
girl,
Maybe you should eat some more cheeseburgers. I'm like,
you do not know how many this.
do you know how much I eat?
I've seen the amount of cheeseburgers.
Like, give me a break. The struggle is on both ends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
100%.
it exists and it's real on both ends, you know? And some people think it's a blessing. It's perspective,
It is. It really is.
you know?
And I mean, and that show just kind of exemplified the flaws in everyone. It was-
Totally. And
unfucking
the
fortunate.
show, like
because they got on girls for being too thin as well.
yes.
Like it was nobody was safe.
Yeah, you were either too thin, you were gaining weight,
Yep.
which was crazy. That one girl, they were like, I can't believe how big she's gotten since last week. And they're like taking her pictures. And I'm
And
like,
they're like focusing in on her belly when she's just chilling.
yeah.
Like, don't focus in on my belly now.
Or like that one girl, they made it seem like she ate like 3 bagels in a row.
when they just cut it.
they
3
cut
different
the
times.
clip 3
Yeah.
different times to her eating the same bagel 3
In,
different
like,
times.
3 different places. Yeah.
Yeah, and then catching like someone's random reaction and putting it together. Like props to the editing team for putting all that shit together because I know how much work that probably took
Yeah.
to like put all that in. Like I get it.
To
like,
tell that story.
to
project that narrative.
to create that sort of narrative. Yeah, like
yeah.
it takes a lot, you know, especially like that would be hard for me to do because I don't have like that's too me. I can't do that. You know?
I appreciate that. Because some of the photos she posts is like the pins for our shows are pretty bad.
I mean, the thumbnails are, we have to. The
You're like,
thumbnails,
I can't. Sorry.
thumbnails is what matters the most. Yeah. Wild
Anyway.
show, wild,
Definitely
like
worth the
cruising
watch.
down memory lane.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't watched any of the Top Model episodes from back in the day, definitely go watch a few, watch a season, you know,
Give 'em a
and then
browse.
watch this documentary and see the 2 different, like the shifts, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, drop a comment below. Tell us what you think.
Give us a like and follow.
If you were like a huge Top Model fan, let us know who your favorite was.
Yes.
Or if you have a crazy story or something that didn't sit right with you on the show, let us know. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And we'll see you guys next week.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
From truth or lies, we'll call it out. They whisper gossip, but we shout. Pop culture queens and headphones clear. Girl, did you hear what's